The land of Umubosi was a peaceful one, surrounded with beautiful vegetations, hardworking people, children laughing and playing in the open. There lived a loving man and his pregnant wife, Ifoma. Life was really hard on them despite how hard they tried to make ends meet. Okonta was a strong and resilient farmer, never giving up despite the low output to compensate his hard work. Ifeoma, on the other hand, would always try to sell the produce of her husband's land in the market square, alongside other villagers, not even minding how heavily pregnant she was. Everyone admired her strength, support, and loved her gentle, charming smile. In the evenings, they would always sit outside and gist while cherishing the cool breeze, carrying fresh scent of leaves, blooming flowers, and enjoying the damp earth, encouraging themselves of a better life ahead. He informed her about planning to meet Chief Ekene for financial assistance. Chief Ekene, on the other hand, was a popular, kind, and wealthy man who was based in the city but came back to check on how his building project is doing in the village. Please go to him, my husband. I am sure he would be of help. The next day, Okonta dressed well and hurried to Chief Ekene's house. He explained about how hard life has been unfair to him and his pregnant wife, and would not mind working for him as a gateman or errand boy so as to earn money. Chief was really sorry for him and gave him some money. He also promised to teach him how to make money. Being successful requires sacrifice, as nothing goes for nothing, Chief implied. Okonta, not knowing what Chief meant, hurriedly accepted doing anything possible to give his family a better life. The next day, Okonta went to thank Chief, and surprisingly, Chief offered him more money, still repeating the same exact words, but being direct this time, saying, being successful requires sacrifice, as nothing goes for nothing. If you are ready to give what it takes, I will take you to the fellowship I attend in the city, so that the yoke of poverty is broken from your life. See, Chief, I have suffered. I can do anything, oh. I am very hardworking and brave. Okay then, prepare, we shall be headed to the city in 2 days' time. When he got back from Chief's house, his wife wasn't back from the market. Thinking deeply, he thought about everything discussed in Chief Ekene's house. What fellowship could he be talking about? It better not be a secret cult. Chief is a very generous and kind man. Everyone speaks well of him. He is not capable of hurting anyone. This fellowship could just be a gathering of brilliant minds. I have to stop overthinking things. When his wife returned from the market, he briefed her about Chief Ekene's offer to take him to the city the next day and connect him to people who would make him wealthy. Oh, that's great news, my husband. May the gods of our land bless him. I wish you well, my love. The night Okonta and Chief Ekene arrived the city, they headed to the so-called fellowship. Ah, what is happening here? Okonta, who was terrified, asked. I am not in support of any ritual. My parents and wife's parents are late. I am the only child, same as my wife. I cannot kill my unborn child and my wife who has been by my side throughout these difficult times. Please, I can't kill anyone. Chief, you did not explain this to me. I quit. Okonta was extremely terrified. Quiet, young man. Don't you have respect? In case you are not aware, there is no going back. If you leave, you will die. You are welcome once again to the Ekulu brotherhood. The journey for wealth and fame is not an easy one. Nothing goes for nothing. Ekulu does not need your wife or your unborn child. He needs your manhood. So if you agree, you would have wealth and fame in abundance. If you are not in agreement, you shall die, so as not to expose our secret. With deep regrets and not knowing what to do, Okonta agreed to give up his manhood. He was then given a sacred liquid potion to drink and officially welcomed to the brotherhood. Welcome to overflowing wealth and fame. Your riches just started, the Grand Master said. It was no joke, Okonta had made money in less than 2 days. He bought a house, bought shops and luxurious cars in the city. Then he disguised himself and went back to the village to come get his wife. My wife, Okonta called. The gods of the land has remembered us. Chief Ekene connected me to wealth. We would never be poor again. First thing tomorrow morning, we are leaving for the city. Both of them danced and rejoiced as they prepared for their movement the next day. That was how life transformed for Okonta and his family. The sacrifice wasn't a bad idea after all, he said. Being thankful to the chief that connected me to that brotherhood. Life was indeed very perfect for him and his household. It wasn't long when Ifeoma gave birth to their handsome son named Akubundu. He was loved and cherished by both his mom and dad. The news of Okonta's wealth spread round the whole Umubosi and even other neighboring villages like wildfire. The women were happy and proud of Okonta. He was kind, generous, and helped support financially, and also sent their children to school. The men were not left out as he supported them financially. Everyone sang his praise and saw him as a role model. The king and elders supported him in taking a chieftaincy title. His name was Odogu I of Umuobosi, and his wife Aso Odogu I of Umuobosi. Who said money isn't good? He would laugh, praising himself and his wife. One fateful day, the Grand Master of the Ekulu brotherhood appeared in his room when his wife went shopping, saying that it has been almost a year and he needed to renew his sacrifice, as the one he did was expired. I gave my manhood already. You didn't mention anything about sacrifice renewal. What is all this? While speaking, the Grand Master interrupted angrily. Keep short. Stop being ungrateful. Nothing goes for nothing. Ekulu wants your son. You have 5 days to sacrifice him, else you will lose your life and everything you own. Okonta busted out crying as he did not see this coming. Ifeoma, his wife, came home that very evening feeling tired as she had lots of engagements in the day. She slept and hurriedly woke up from a nightmare. In the dream, she saw her husband on red clothes, doing some incantations and sacrificing her and her son. Immediately, she ran fast into Akubundu's room to check on her sweet, cute little one, who was enjoying his sleep. Perhaps it's a dream. 2 days to the sacrifice, Okonta wept bitterly as he needed to come up with a decision. He finally agreed to sacrifice his son Akubundu because he was scared of losing everything he had achieved. A day to the party came and Okonta said to Ifeoma, our son is almost a year and I would love to throw a big party for him. My wife, I leave everything concerning the planning in your hands. I want the party to be one in town. Invite your friends and I will invite mine. No matter how much it will cost, just inform me. You know money is not a problem.
Ifeoma then began putting things in place for the big party, as she wanted it to be a memorable one.
The day for the party came, and it was total fun. Finally, it had to come to an end, and everyone was exhausted. The servants were cleaning the house and packing the money sprayed by friends and well-wishers. While everyone was asleep, the sacrifice was done, and the little boy died in his sleep. The next morning, his mom went to check on him and found him not breathing. She screamed and rushed to call her husband. They brought doctors to try check and revive the boy, all to no avail. Things will never be the same. My precious jewel, gone just like that? My enemies are at work, she cried, weeping bitterly. Okonta was in tears. He refused to eat or do anything. So my Akko is gone. Of what use is the wealth when my successor is dead? Manhood also gone. What do I do now? There is nothing left of me, he wept bitterly. Anyone who visited the Grandmaster outside meeting days without invitation will be punished. Okonta, who was still grieving the death of his son, did not even remember the law. He wanted to tell the Grandmaster that he wasn't interested in the brotherhood anymore. As he stepped into the house, he saw some strange beings and spirits. Grandmaster lashed out saying, "What have you just done? This is the highest form of disrespect. Couldn't you call before coming?" Ekulu is very angry and demands your beloved wife for sacrifice. Failure to do so, you will lose everything as well as your life. Okonta begged and begged, but the plea fell on deaf ears. After a week of going to see the Grandmaster, Okonta thought about the whole issue. I have come too far to quit. I cannot die in place of my wife. She has a very kind heart and would forgive me, knowing fully well I want to maintain our family fame. After much thought, he finally agreed to sacrifice her. Ifoma also died in her sleep, just like her son. It got the entire village talking about what could cause her sudden death, including that of her son. Some people felt it was just a natural death. Others were suspecting Okonta. But with his goodness in the village, most people couldn't point hands of him using his wife and son for ritual. Okonta moved on easily with the help of his friends, who were always there to cheer him up. They encouraged him to stay strong and focus for the journey ahead. It wasn't long when he then married a new wife, Olamma. She was elegant, kind, peaceful, and of course, beautiful. And they kept living and loving each other. The way he moved on from the death of his son and his wife was very alarming, but with the influence he had in the community, no one could speak bad of him. On one fateful day, Olamma and her newly wedded husband were planning to go out when they heard a strange cry and tried tracing to see where it was coming from. They were highly terrified seeing a ghost. It sent shivers down Okonta's spine because he knew it was Ifeoma. Olamma was very confused. Okonta just kept shouting and pretending like he didn't know what was going on, saying his enemies were at work. As the day progressed, Ifeoma's cry, alongside that of her son, kept being more audible. She kept asking him why he decided cutting their lives short, despite all she did for him. Only him could hear what she was saying. He couldn't take it anymore. The torment was much. He could not bear it anymore, so he went off to report to the Grandmaster, and the Grandmaster said that his late wife's spirit was restless and will bring down everything he has if he doesn't act fast. The solution was to sacrifice Olamma. Without hesitation, he offered Olamma a sacrifice, thinking everything would calm down and he can continue living his life without fear or torment. The sacrifice only got things worse. His shops, warehouse, and all other properties burnt down at the same period. He couldn't take the shock and fainted. Then he was rushed to the hospital. While in the hospital, the torture continued and he got very sick. Different doctors examined him and couldn't explain what was wrong. They had to discharge him as he was not getting any better, but was still being looked after by some of his faithful servants living in his house. The villagers were shocked to know his second wife died, properties destroyed, and they kept saying life was very unfair to him, despite him being a good man, not knowing he was the cause of his problems. The elders of the village came to his house to meet him paralyzed, laying on his sick bed. Filled with so much bitterness and regret, he confessed about the source of his wealth and all the blood sacrifices he has done. Upon hearing this confession, they were dumbfounded, and while still deliberating on the next step to take, he died. Everyone was scared to touch him, as not to partake in the nemesis that had caught up with him. Of what use is all this blood sacrifice when you can't live to enjoy it peacefully? The elders lamented. Finally, they returned to the village late in the night, so as to report to the king and make decisions if his body was going to be buried in the land or abandoned, as Okonta committed an abomination. Meanwhile, Okonta's servants already ran away with their belongings after hearing his confession before he died. In exactly 2 days, the elders returned only to find Okonta's house covered in heaps of sand. The news of the house converting into sand spread round the village and the city, and no one wanted to have anything to do with the forbidden land. All those who entered mistakenly left immediately as they felt the presence of dark forces. Patience and endurance are the keys to success. When tempted by shortcuts, always remember that the path of integrity may be longer, but it surely leads to lasting fulfillment. Nothing good comes easy. Keep trusting God, work hard, and believe in yourself. Everything will be alright. Thanks for listening to this story. Please do like, share, comment to what you have learned, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Much love. Bye.